Well, good morning again. And yesterday, I can only apologize for yesterday's disastrous performance. The internet was a bit like those alien invasion films where the aliens jam all the communications and the signal goes haywire just before they take everybody over. Well, hopefully we're back today, and we are going to stay with the verse I was attempting to talk about yesterday because it's just so important. It's the heart of the Bible's understanding of what it means to be a Christian. And it's here in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. So it says, "It is by grace you've been saved through faith, and this not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." Now, there you have the elements of biblical faith. And you can see how Paul's got there, because the first chapter is all about the salvation that God has given us in the many ways that it's come through Jesus. The second chapter is about us and our sinfulness and how far we are from God, how dead we are without him. And therefore, it's almost inevitable you come to this point, what Paul says. And these two densely packed verses, but talking about salvation, what it is, and how we're saved. It's by grace. That's his word. It appears several times already. It appears again. It's God's undeserved mercy and favor to us. That's where it's come from. It's not come from us. It's come from God. And it's not come because we've deserved it. It's because of his grace and love. When we were in chapter 1, we reflected on that we can't really explain why he's done it. He just has. And it's through faith. It's not through what we do, but rather in the one in whom we trust. It's not talking about faith in this general vague sense, believing something might be out there, but rather faith in the sense of trust in someone else. Rather than trusting in my own abilities, I trust in what somebody has already done for me. That someone being Jesus. So it's through faith in him. And then it adds to it, and this is not from yourself. You need to take that on board too. It's of course your faith. God doesn't believe for you, but you wouldn't believe unless he'd already worked by his Spirit in your heart to draw you to him. And so in that sense, it's not from yourself. It's God's gift. That's the next part of the sentence. It is the gift of God. It's something he has granted you, given you. He's opened your hearts to receive him. It's God's gift, and that's of course God's word that appears throughout for our salvation. It's God's gift to us. And it's not by works. It's not something we've earned. It's a gift. It's not by something we've done, whether religious or otherwise. It's not by works, so that no one can boast. That's the way that this short, densely packed sentence ends. So that no one can boast. We have no right to boast before God about ourselves. We have nothing to boast of. In fact, we have no right to boast before each other. No one can claim superiority over the other in the Christian faith. We're all equals in this regard. We're all sinners who need to be saved. So we can't boast as if I am better than you. In fact, boasting in the Christian life is about Jesus. That's whom we boast in. He's everything to us. He's the one that has brought us this salvation. He's God's wisdom expressed to us. He's our righteousness. He's the one who brings us to be holy. He's everything to us. So we boast in him because, well, he laid down his life for us. He, having stepped down from heaven's glory, died on the cross and then rose again, defeating death and sin and the devil. That's the one we boast of. We can't claim that we've done any of those. He's done them all. And so we boast in him. And that boasting about him is actually the reason why we are secure in the Christian life. We're thinking about him. He's our security. He's everything to us. And that answers, I think, some of the nagging doubts we feel about ourselves. Sometimes we feel we're not good enough. Sometimes we feel, well, we torture ourselves. We afflict ourselves with these thoughts. I'm not what I should be. I don't do what I ought to do. Well, you weren't accepted. According to these verses, you weren't accepted on the basis of any performance that you made. You were accepted on the basis of what Jesus did. And you rest in that. And you continue to rest in that. I know we want to serve him better, and often we're disappointed in ourselves. But here's the bedrock of assurance and our peace is that it's all of grace. We're really saved by grace, not by works. We can't boast. We don't need to. We boast in him. He's everything to us. Well, rest in that today. And the internet permitting, or should I say God permitting, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.